Rome mayoral debate. We turn to Michael Brown, one of the mayoral candidates, about solar energy. Is there room for solar energy plans in your vision of a new Rome?
Solar energy plans, there's room for any type of alternative energy. One of my concerns is in driving here today, I'm passing several fields that are being utilized for solar farms, and I'm really concerned about the fact that we're using up really arable land for these solar farms. I think that these solar farms could be going on top of buildings. They could be going in scrubland. They could be going in places other than good, fertile farmland. And one of my concerns is the area has very inexpensive farmland, and it's being purchased up and utilized for these solar farms, and I think we're really doing a great disservice to our area farmers.
All right, Mayor Fusco, your feeling on solar energy as a way to offset electric costs in Rome?
Well, right now, with the advent of the latest two projects that we're instituting, we're going to be at 80% of our capacity to where we can use solar power. That's going to save the city of Rome taxpayers roughly about $8.5 million over the next 20 to 25 years. And it's also going to bring in $350,000 worth of lease payments on property that we otherwise would not have seen little or any revenue at all. And to Mike's point, we're utilizing a retired city dump for one of the major projects. It's going to be one of the biggest ones in the area, and it's also situated in a place where you really can't see it from the road, unlike some of the projects that are being built. And the project on Lanphier Road, we're utilizing about half of a hockey stick shaped project or a property that sits right next to a prison. Again, you can't really see it too much from the road. And the farmer that was using it was using it for basically just to keep it tilled for us, to keep the scrub down. The Shefferstein boys, they were happy to see the project come in. They're looking forward to possibly utilizing the remaining part of the land, so that'll we'll keep using that. And we've got to remember, we do have a lot of farmland that's available to for agricultural use, and at the same time we've got to look for alternative energy sources, which is another reason why my administration is working very diligently. It has been difficult on our anaerobic digestion project, which is going to be the next big green energy push in this country.
All right, Joe Fusco. Now to Louis Daniello, and your feelings on solar energy.
You
sir.
know, my feelings on any alternative energy are very positive. However, there are rules and regulations that you need to follow. Now, we were approached by the same solar companies with the Rome City School District regarding putting solar farms on some of our properties. After careful consideration and looking at state laws versus what the proposals were, I don't see where the bid process came into any of the city-owned property issues. I don't see where there was an RFP. According to our lawyers, very well-respected law firm Ferrer and Larson, there needed to be a three-bid process. There was not one on the proposal, nor were there any indications that there were any other companies that would have been given the opportunity to bid on this. So subsequently, I can't help but feel that there may have been that same particular brand going on with the city. Now, as far as the using farmland, not a good idea. Not a very good idea at all. Least of all, the farmland is being used right now on Old Oriskany Road, which was, in fact, utilized by the same family for at least 17 years. They've had lease option after lease option to be able to run their farm there. That you're taking away $250,000 a year out of this family's pocket. Now, that is no way to treat a family farm. And if it means having to defray on solar, as we mentioned, all three mentioned earlier, there are 76 square miles in Rome. We can certainly find some places to put that. If it is, in fact, on the old Tannery Road dump site, then so be it. But that in and of itself needs to be done in a proper manner, because I don't believe we own that property. I think we lease that property.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thanks, Lou Daniello, on that. Back to Michael Brown in the mayoral debate here on 100.7 FM WUTQ. Mayor Fusco had mentioned a hockey stick in his recent response there about the Kennedy Arena, which is a popular hockey site there. Plans to maybe improve that and add an outdoor facility as well. What are your feelings about the Kennedy Arena project, Michael?
I think it's a bad call. The Kennedy Arena is the municipal pool there is utilized by the neighborhood. It may not have the numbers that they want, but that's an underprivileged neighborhood. They really, really don't want to see an indoor arena there. There are lots of other options, guys. And for example, I really don't want to see housing of any scale on the old site of Park Drive Estates. I think that would be a perfect site for a campus, for an indoor. You could put 3-4 arenas. I think that you could use it for multiple purposes. I think that you need to do a partnership, public and private partnership, to come up with the funding for something like that. The community seems to want it. It needs to have a really good business plan. It needs to make fiscal sense. And it also, it's that area, it's adjacent to the airport. It's adjacent to hotels, restaurants, the highway, the hospital. It just makes a lot more sense. We need to keep our housing downtown. We need to put things like that in a more commercial venued area.
All right, that's Michael Brown. Back to Lou Daniello on the Kennedy Arena project, and then we'll let Mayor Fusco chime in.
I personally think it's a bad idea.
Okay.
You know, anytime that you take away a certain piece to any neighborhood, and the piece that I'm talking about is the municipal pool. Now, I'm not exactly sure where whoever's in charge of the city gets their figures from. I think it might be through a sign-in book, but not everybody signs in. I've had people hawking that pool this entire summer, and the numbers are slightly higher than they're talking, sometimes double. Now, given that, you have a neighborhood that has a specific demographic, and that specific demographic is very low income. Some of those kids, that's the only thing they're going to get this summer to do is go to that municipal pool. Now, yes, we have another pool on the other side of town, but do we want our kids either walking or being bused to another side of town when we can't get to them? Makes no sense. Personally, I have hit the ground running essentially with this. I have spoken to local legislators, with the Department with the State Education Department, with those in charge of buildings and grounds at the State Education Department, and BOCES, to try and formulate a plan to do a mixed-use facility on the site of the old RFA, which would include 3 indoor fields, as opposed to the one that they're proposing at the old Kennedy Arena site. Now, this would be a use, an education use, with, in fact, the indoor sports use facility, with conjunction with the school district. The city can participate if they like, and through BOCES. We need a place to house our advanced technical and manufacturing degree set forth by, I can tell you, great thing by Anthony Brindisi, who has given us this opportunity to educate our children outside of the norms, outside of that Regents diploma thing.
All right, Mayor Fusco, what are your feelings on the future for the Kennedy Arena site?
We've done a lot of research and a lot of work, and we have talked to every single sports group in the community. They are all 100% behind this project. When you talk about swimming pools, Lou, you basically call the kids that work there a liar. They keep very good records. We have very accurate records. We've been keeping them since I took over because that was a point to make. Who is using this pool? Municipal pool is the most underutilized pool in the city. 4 blocks away, for that same neighborhood I grew up in, Stevensfield swimming pool is actually the most populated, used swimming pool in the community, and we have the numbers to support that. The reason why we looked at, and by the way, initially we talked to the school district. We went to them first with our plan, and they said they had absolutely nothing on the docket. We talked with Mr. Stamboli, and whether he passed it on to other people in that realm is beyond me. But we went to the school district. This is our plan. This is what we want to do. What can you do to help, or do you have anything going? They said no. So we went out, we researched all the opportunities, what the costs would be, and we found that by attaching this facility to the Kennedy Arena, it would be the most cost-effective to build and cost-effective to run. That was high on our priority list. We've got the parking. We've put additional parking already in it at Kennedy Arena, utilizing our own work crews. We have 2 more phases of additional parking that we can build over there that we will do for the future. And again, all the sports groups, both youth and adult in the community, have been touched. They've all come to the table and said, we want to see this. We need a practice field in the city of Rome. Would we like 3, 4, 5 fields? Yes, they tried that 15 years ago. It failed because we don't have the money to build something that big. But we do have the money to build, and we can get the money to build something reasonable, something that we can afford, something that we can manage. And if it grows from there, we've got room for growth.
All right, gentlemen, Lou, you look like you might have had something to add to that discussion or a point there.
It was never made to my. It was never brought to my attention that the city ever proposed any such thing with the school district. I will
Talk
also
to Mr.
say,
Stamboli.
I will talk to Mr. Stamboli, but I can also assure you that the funding part of this thing was it will be an 80-20 split between the state and the school district. Now, we are not going to go out and bond for anything. For the magnitude of the amount of money that the mayor's talking about.
We didn't say anything about bonding. We're going after funding.
Yeah, while going after funding and bonding are they exactly the same thing there, Joe? Because trust me when I tell you, there's not a ton of money out there to build this facility for you, either in grant or in any private entity, because they're just not coming to the table for that. But this little piece of this little piece that we're trying to build puts a three-field indoor sports facility, centrally located.
You're the only one trying to build it, Lou. Nobody in the school district is on board with it. I'm sorry,
I've been working on this since 2007.
Yes, 7.
Since 2007.
8 years.
8 years I have been working on it.
We've gotten farther ahead in the last 6 months than you have in 8 years. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, Joe. Well, let's see how
you've got
farther
nothing.
ahead.
You've got nothing
shelved
on
projects. You've shelved projects that were on the books for years.
We haven't shelved any projects. We've taken projects off the shelf, Lou.
That's nonsense. Right. You're taking credit for things that were started in administrations before. I listened to a briefing 9 years ago about the trail.
And why wasn't it done?
I'm not
because
sure.
The administration wasn't capable of finishing it.
I think
mine.
All right, gentlemen, let me intercede for just a moment here and let Mike Brown have a word on this topic as well. Go ahead.
If anything's going to happen, guys, it's going to have to be public-private, and it's going to have to be a sort of a situation where it's big enough and it's got a good enough business plan that is going to be viable, or it won't be built. If it is built, it needs to be a viable revenue source for the city, because the city is running short on, we talk about property taxes. We need some revenue sources, and this, I think, could be a real revenue generator for the city if it's done right, and if it's not the taxpayer dollars that are the major influx of money for it. It needs to be private money.